Hello everyone and thanks for joining us. This is Amhara Media Corporation, Amhara TV News. I am Gaila Damu. Stay tuned. Ministry of Foreign Affairs said that Ethiopia will continue to strengthen its commitment to make the Sudanese political transition successful. Brown Workner reports.
A spokesperson of Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Dina Mufti, gave press briefing yesterday on major diplomatic activities, economic and citizen-centered diplomacy, the current development in Sudan and other related issues over the week. The spokesperson said the government of Ethiopia expressed its position on the current situation in Sudan by recalling the statement issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs that urged all parties for calm and de-escalation in the Sudan and to exert every effort towards a peaceful end to this crisis. In this regard, Dina noted the government of Ethiopia fully supports the completion of Sudan's transition to democracy and the respect for the constitutional document of the transitional period. Furthermore, spokesperson reiterated that the need for the respect of the sovereign aspirations of the people of the Sudan and the non-interference of external actors in the internal affairs of the Sudan. Sudan has the capability to address the challenges that it is facing now, the spokesperson said, adding that Ethiopia believes that external interference in the internal affairs of Sudan is unnecessary. He recalled that the government of Ethiopia has played a significant role in successfully mediating the establishment of a coalition government consisting of its civilians and military components and to adopt the constitutional document of the transitional period. Speaking on diplomatic activities carried out over the week, Dina noted Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs Demeke Mekonnen held discussion with Commissioner for the International Partnership of the European Union Commission Jutta Urpilainen on the current situation in Ethiopia. Demeke briefed the Commissioner about Ethiopia's commitment to give unfettered access to humanitarian assistance by mentioning significant measures taken by the government. He explained that efforts being undertaken by the Attorney General's Office and the Joint International Investigation over Alleged Crimes and underscored the government's policy of zero tolerance for any human rights violation in the country. Demeke also called on the European Union to condemn TPLF for its transgression and pressured the group to immediately withdraw its soldiers from occupied areas in the Amhara region, Dina stated. It is to be recalled that Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed said in his message written in Arabic to the people of Sudan that Sudanese indigenous knowledge and practice are sufficient enough to uphold the bright future of the Sudan's people by respecting the values of the constitution and realizing the Juba peace agreement. According to him, the government and people of Ethiopia are closely following the situation in Sudan, and this is a result of the long-standing bondage between the two people.
Consortium of Ethiopian Human Rights Organizations Executive Director Masoud Gabayo noted that some international human rights organizations have failed to employ proper methodologies and working procedures during investigations. Ababa Birhani tells us more.
In an exclusive interview with Ethiopian news agency, the executive director said the legitimacy of most of the human rights reports are questioned as they lack the proper methodologies procedures. According to Masoud, one of the major problems which has been witnessed in human rights reports on Ethiopia is that the investigations are conducted remotely and driven by social media campaigns. He elaborated that many of the human rights entities cannot show the reality on the ground, since the very methodologies and procedures of the investigations are
primary sources of data. And in this case, as there have been different social media campaigns by the international media that didn't properly portray what is happening on the ground, maybe the findings could be somehow misleading.
The executive director further revealed that there is also a tendency by some rights organizations to conduct their investigations remotely. This mistaken approach should be taken seriously, as it is critical in determining findings of the investigations based on the gathered information. He noted that there are lots of mistaken reports of human rights violations, even reports of local civil societies and international media, as in the case of the Maikadra massacre committed by the TPLF. Masood pointed out that the key problems of human rights reporters, particularly with regard to Tigray region, is the remote approach of the investigators and their lack of interests to work closely with the government of Ethiopia.
In that case, there have been also international media propaganda and allegations of making the Ethiopian government not cooperative of human rights abuses investigations. But it is very obvious also that the Ethiopian government has been close than that.
The executive director underscored that human rights organizations should work closely with the government and get the blessing of the government to have comprehensive information about what is happening on the ground.
Whenever such kinds of inquiries are required, and if there are reasons, compelling reasons that some reports of allegations of human rights abuses are to be investigated, the first thing is that the government should invite these entities. It is obvious that this is happening in a sovereign country.
Former high-ranking military officers say that the airstrikes on weapon depots, military training centers and other strategic locations of the TPLF were carefully planned and effective. Eyayu Malese has more.
The officers told the Ethiopian news agency stated that the airstrikes are aimed at weakening the capacity of the enemy and drawing its resources. Former Army Brigadier General Kasai Chemeda said, the targets have a huge impact on the war, so they need to be hit. They must be completely destroyed because they have impact on the war. Appreciating the motivation of the people to join the National Defense Force, he stressed that the enrollment should continue as the youth should play their part in strengthening the capacity of the army. Former Colonel Tafarashete on his part praised the government's ongoing airstrikes and said it should continue to crack down on strategic strongholds of the TPLF. The TPLF terrorist group is an invading force which came to massacre people in neighboring regions, and there is no member of the army that sleeps until this group is wiped out. The government is taking action to save the people and must strike TPLF military bases to save the people. These institutions are the backbone of the terrorist group. The Air Force has done amazing work in terms of hitting selected targets. This should continue. The former colonel noted that the Ethiopian people are fighting for the truth, adding that the international community needs to understand the reality and support the effort to save lives. Former Major Wandwalda said, the government has taken appropriate actions. The selected targets are of military importance and this is the law of war. On the contrary, the TPLF fired artillery barrage on innocent civilians in Afar region and killed 200. Contrasted to this, there is nothing wrong with the government's airstrike on TPLF, which is a big threat to the public. Both officers have presently rejoined the National Defense Force. They finally urged Tigrayans to say no to operation of TPLF and refuse to pay so much sacrifice for the sake of one group.
Education Minister Professor Birhanu Negga said his ministry will build the capacity of public universities to make them qualified in autonomous institutions. Abba Brani has the details.
The minister held a discussion yesterday with presidents and vice presidents of public universities about capacitating the universities. During the occasion, Professor Birhanu said creating autonomous institutions of higher learning would help produce internationally competent citizens and promote democratic thinking in the country. He noted that the role of the management bodies of the universities is crucial in order to achieve the goal of creating autonomous universities. The minister stated that the fundamental challenges of the universities in infrastructure, lack of quality education and accountability, absence of a smooth teaching and learning process, as well as other structural and bureaucratic issues need to be addressed step by step to upgrade the universities. Professor Brahanu noted that creating autonomous universities needs hard work and collaboration with the ministry, and the managements of university bodies need to make constructive engagements with lecturers as well as students. Education State Minister Fanta Mandafro on his part stressed that the universities need to look like the nation at their federal institutions than regional or local universities. According to him, the management of the universities should build public trust through creating enabling environments to improve the overall development of their universities. He stated that autonomy is not given, rather earned through work.
You're watching Amhara Media Corporation, Amhara TV News, and now let's take a look at the foreign exchange rate in Karat rate. That's all the news we have for today. I'm Gaila Damu. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and have a nice time.